All right, it says we're live, so you know how that is. All right, I guess we're live. I don't know. So, hello, everybody.
What's up?
Hello, Gun Nation.
So it looks like we have a few people in already, so that's always a good thing. And let's kind of do a shout out call really quick. Got C. Kim, Dale Nichols, Shooting with Uncle Dan, Scott P79. Let's see, Dennis Buckner, Farm Freak. Who else we got here? Mateo's on. Hello, Mateo. Kathleen Music Lovers on. Cajun Tigers is on. Knuckles, Misa or Mika? I'm not sure. Or Mika. Big Johnson's on. That's weird.
Yeah.
KS Gun Guy is on. Logan, Philip, Harper, a bunch of other people. Stephen Worth. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another amazing chat tonight where we're going to have some pretty cool, hopefully, some pretty cool dialogue in regards to some of the current events that have just happened in the gun community, which is always exciting because they're always usually negative, which is weird when you think about it. And then, of course,
real quick before we get into that, I did want to give Dennis Buckner a shout out. He bought his first pistol ever, and he is going to be concealed carrying it. So congratulations, Dennis Buckner.
Congrats. Welcome to the club.
Sweet.
So anyway, getting back to what I was saying. So tonight we're going to talk about a couple of things and of course throw it out to all of you and get your questions and any other comments that you may have that we can springboard off of. So the first question I'd like to bring to these two gentlemen is the following. So apparently our beloved President Donald Trump has agreed to go down the route of banning bump stocks. And we had kind of brought this up. I think it was, how many months ago was that? I think it was even during the summer or something like that, or fall, where of course they were initially talking about banning them. And of course people got into a frenzy with it and then it kind of disappeared. And then this week, once again, it has resurrected itself into a bit of finality, I guess. So I'd like to hear what you two guys have to say about it.
Go ahead, Chaos.
Well, I think it never really disappeared. I think as soon as Las Vegas happened and it became a topic of conversation, and to some people probably low-hanging fruit because it's an accessory, it's not an actual firearm or anything like that, that they probably saw it as an opportunity to say, you know what, let's push this through as an olive branch. And I am not saying that's right. That's I'm just saying I think this may be the course of action that they took, and then quietly sneaking that through to hopefully appease anti-gunners. Again, not saying that's right. I don't agree with it, but I'm sort of thinking maybe that perhaps is what they did. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, thanks, Wicked. You gave us a donation towards the revolution. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I feel it's bullshit. And I'll just go ahead and say it. I mean, it is an accessory. It's a piece of plastic. And if y'all have ever shot with one, they suck. However, it's still our God-given right to have shit like that. I mean, there's no, there's a whole nother deal about that Vegas deal. But anyway, we won't get into that. But, I think they were looking for anything. But also, as if you've seen, I haven't seen crap from the NRA, saying, hey, we're fighting this, we're doing this. I haven't seen crap from them. There's nothing on their website. There's nothing, that they're screaming about. And I don't understand that. You give them one thing, I don't care what it is. You give them one thing and they're going to ask for more. So, I'm pissed off about it. I don't think it should have happened. Do I own one? No. But I just think it's total bullshit, and that's my honest opinion.
Yeah, and I agree. I think that's a lot of the sentiment for everybody else. The fact that even though I guess most people would not consider the bump stock to be, I guess, a necessity in gun ownership. I think it's also the idea of, you give an inch, they take a yard, Mm-hmm. And, I mean, I've never had one, don't have any desire to own one, even if I could. But, some people want it and some people like them. So why not let them have it? These are the people who probably won't be committing crimes, especially if they're legally purchased. I mean, it's hard to say, I know that some people will look at it as, the end all and be all, that if you give them this, then what else is next. And they may have a point with that. Obviously we've seen in the recent months, especially days, a bunch of crazy things that are kind of coming down the pipeline. I think right now with the movement, I think it's really disappointing to see how this has played out. I know a lot of us were really happy that Donald Trump won the presidency, thinking it was going to be a win for the 2A community as a whole. And then all of a sudden now we've seen the 180. And I'm concerned that it may be him covering his own ass because of the, it may be impending impeachment, possibly. Who knows, maybe giving in to some of their demands to appease the other side, but it's too early to say.
Yeah, but to fold up like a lawn chair, there's no reason to do that. And as far as, what they're classifying that thing is a rate increasing device. Okay, that's what they've said. Well, there's other items, and I don't want to say it because, what kind of ticks me off is about a bunch of these channels. Okay, and I'll just go ahead and say it. When you tell the non-gun people what those other items are, that just makes them jump on those. There's other items that can do that, and we don't need them going there either. And that's a concern too. What's next? There needs to be, they need to shelf this crap. I know the GOA is fighting the bump stock ban. They're filing a lawsuit and things like that. I don't know where it's going to get them, but more power to them. I mean, I'm hoping that they win this deal, but I just think it's bull crap.
So it kind of leads into the other thing, are they using this as a springboard to kind of distract everybody else? Obviously we saw what happened in New Jersey, and I think I'm hoping a lot of people know what happened there, because it didn't get a lot of play, which I think is even more concerning. And in regards to the New Jersey case, or what happened in New Jersey, as a federal court, of course, it was an Obama appointee who judged this whatever you want to call this law, or several laws. Basically, they've reduced magazine capacity in New Jersey to 10, which is very, obviously that's common in New York State. But then more importantly, now they're saying that even off-duty police officers cannot carry their duty weapons with them, because obviously they have higher capacity. They've also put in a couple other things about, mental health, gun checks, ammo checks, you name it. And sometimes I wonder if they were throwing the bump stock thing here as a big to do. And instead, they're doing kind of the sleight of hand by saying, hey, here are the bump stocks, but nobody's really seeing what they're doing on the other hand, which is completely removing rights in general, and especially to New Jersey, because New Jersey was better than us in New York, and now it's gotten worse. And then, of course, the scarier thing is, when the state police were interviewed, they basically would not say that they wouldn't go door to door to see potential confiscation, which I don't even know how the hell they'd get away with that.
I honestly think that, I'm sorry, KS, if you had something, go ahead.
Well, I was just, I had a thought there for a second. I think oftentimes that politicians use tragedies or use headlines to push agendas, because everybody's emotional heartstrings are being pulled on and all of that. And I think that's exactly what's going on here. I mean, I think 17, to your point, there's a little bit of sleight of hand, but I think it's also, to a degree, just, hey, here, this just happened. Here's what we're doing now. And they push that hard. And I think probably the scarier part of that for me, among all of those different laws or regulations that have gone in, is ammo checks, things like that. Having to turn in your ID to buy ammo. And so there is now traceability, if that's a word. Anytime we have anything that's tracked. I mean, if you buy a firearm and you go through your paperwork and all that, that's one thing. But all of a sudden, ammo, I don't necessarily want people to know how much ammo I buy. Now, I don't buy 50,000 rounds at a time. That's not me. But I don't want people to know that I buy 1,000 rounds or whatever, because there's going to be some wackadoon who is going to say, oh my gosh, this person's a terrorist. Obviously 1,000, who needs 1,000 rounds? They only need 5 or something like that. Anytime you're talking about registration, that to me is probably the scariest part of this. Now, I mean, I'm not in favor of any of it. The magazine ban, we've proven time and time again that doesn't work. I mean, I remember when the first magazine ban went in, when I was of legal age to buy firearms. I bought my first Smith & Wesson right before that took place. So I got 2 15-round magazines. And then right after that, you were done. It was down to 10 rounds, I think, nationally. And I believe the statistics all proved that that did absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
What does that do? 15 rounds to 10 rounds. What does that honestly do? It does absolutely nothing. Why waste the time for that? Keep guns out of bad people's hands. That's it. Just keep guns out of bad people's hands. That's common sense gun law. Pops and Coda and a few other people put out videos about that. And I was thinking, I'm in favor of common sense gun laws. Keep guns out of bad people's hands. Done. That's common sense,
Right. And the problem with that is, even with that, is like, what is common sense? Like who gets to determine what the common sense is? Is it going to be somebody who suffers from PTSD? Is it someone who, got divorced and his wife is talking crap, or vice versa? I mean, I just think, like, even with that, there's so many unopened, or I should say open-ended questions to that you can't even really make a sensible argument with that, because what is common sense gun law? Some people may say, yeah, let's ban the bump stock. Nobody uses them. They're garbage or whatever. That's common sense gun law. But to the majority of people, that's not. So I don't even know how, like, we can even say those words, common sense, because common sense, well, that's kind of a, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Oxymoron, because common sense, but not everybody has the same common sense.
True.
Yeah, and it's nothing. I've came home before and had 3,000 rounds of ammo on my front doorstep. So and they don't know what I'm doing with it. If I'm shooting competitions or I'm doing whatever, hell, 500 or 600 rounds of that could be shot in a day. Who are they to tell me what the hell to do, or what to buy or what not to buy? And I mean, if you look at it, I mean, a bump stock's a piece of plastic. Or I mean, what are they going to do? Outlaw Legos next because you can make a bump stock out of Legos? I mean, it's just stupid, and they think, and these are, I think it should be mandatory for every government official or who wants to run for office to at least go shoot a gun or freaking know about a gun. You hear some of these people on TV, saying, oh yeah, they're buying magazines. And when their magazine goes empty, they have to buy another magazine. Y'all have probably heard that lady. I'm like, what the hell is she talking about? Or she says clip, I think. But it's like they don't even know what the hell they're talking about, and they're spewing out a bunch of garbage that they heard from some other idiot, and that guy that supposedly was in the military on an AR-15 saying it can fire, what do you say, 60,000 rounds or something stupid in a minute. I mean, I don't know where the hell that guy's coming from, but people don't, if you don't know what the hell you're talking about, stay in your own damn lane. You don't need to have an opinion. Your opinion means shit.
Yeah, I think it's just, I mean, I get worried because obviously, we have not seen the full wrath of Andrew Cuomo yet. And that's coming. I mean, that's coming in January. And, when I look at what they're pushing as their, kind of their, I guess, their agenda for when they all take office, because we're going to be completely blue now, which is, in my opinion, extremely, extremely anti-democratic, even though they were elected by the people, supposedly. When you have the Democratic Congress and then Democratic governor and the courts, we're in for a big problem up here in New York. And I think New Jersey is kind of pushing those limits, because I could easily see Cuomo trying to pass something like that, where they try to enforce the idea we'll go door to door to find out if you have things that were supposed to be banned. And I mean, I'm hoping that at least law enforcement, for the most part, will not support this. And I think it's crazy. We're seeing a lot of things that were criminalized 5 years ago become completely legal. And now everything that was legal 5 years ago become completely criminalized. And it's shocking. Absolutely shocking.
Yeah. And, the people that, are hunters, they're like, oh, I'm a hunter. I don't need that. I don't need this. What's next? I mean, if you really think about it, like a semi-automatic, Ruger 1022, holds 25 rounds. I mean, now it's going to go down to 10 for those people. I mean, come on, and then also, you were talking about, and I know that they brought it up, that he signed that bill for 10 rounds. So if you're pulled over and they say, okay, do you have a concealed carry permit? And you're like, yes, here it is. And then all of a sudden they say, oh, I want to see what's in your mags. That's basically search and seizure. So, I mean, you don't have a warrant. You can't just start searching my vehicle, because I'm going to tell you, piss off. You're not checking my truck. I mean, you want to get a search warrant, then fine. I'll call an attorney and we can just have at it. But you're not going to just start searching my shit for no reason because you have an idea.
Right. So, I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the new year. I think that you know, and I did post it, you know, basically telling everybody, you know, if you think this isn't going to come to you, you better guess again. You know, they've been using these states, California, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Massachusetts, as petri dishes, and eventually it's going to work its way. You know, the red South is becoming blue very fast. And I just wish that some people on the blue side, who are hopefully gun owners and gun supporters, would actually start seeing the writing on the wall in regards to, you know what our rights really are. And unfortunately, I don't see that happening anytime soon.
Well, the government wants full control, and you know it's going to come. You know, and I know that Wicked's talked about it before too, but it's going to come to something pretty damn nasty. And I don't know what state it's going to happen in first, but something's going to happen.
Well, I guarantee you it ain't happening here in New York. That's
No,
for sure.
no.
But on the good side, and this is a positive thing for the 2A people up here in the Northeast in the good old state of New York, today a federal court judge actually ruled that nunchucks were unconstitutionally banned from New York. So now, if you're a New Yorker, you can carry nunchucks.
Nunchucks or that little chuck?
No, nunchucks, man, like Bruce Lee.
Oh, no shit. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So,
well, in Texas, in Texas, we can carry ninja swords, so we're good.
Yeah. So now we go ahead.
You guys are going to have nunchuck fights in the streets.
That's what I'm saying, man. You know,
I would pay money to see that.
When a mugger comes up to you and they have a gun, nunchuck it, man. Block those bullets with a fan and see what happens. I mean, it's going to work for you.
Hit yourself in the head or the junk and pass out.
So I'm going to go out and buy some nunchucks on eBay tonight, and then just carry those in my pocket.
There you go. I thought you were going to say the little chuck, you know, that you can, like the little mini brass knuckle thing.
No, man, I don't even know if we can carry those. I don't think brass knuckles are legal up here anyway. So,
well, the little single one, you know, they'll call it like a paperweight or a meat tenderizer.
Yeah,
they call it all kinds of keychain. They call it all kinds of funny things.
I just thought it was a bottle opener, officer. I swear.
Yeah, there you go.
So I'm actually going to change my YouTube channel. I'm going to start learning nunchucks, and every week I'm going to do a new video on a new move that I've learned watching Enter the Dragon. So that's
you're supposed to watch Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. So Dennis Buckner saying we technically have to carry only 7 rounds. Actually, that's not true. That's debatable. New York State Court, federal court, I think was actually a federal court, actually ruled that was unconstitutional in the SAFE Act. So technically, you can carry 10 rounds, but I don't know if the police want you to carry 10 rounds. I carry 3. That's all I carry.
Yeah, there you go. MD Polo got him a Shadow 2. Sent me a picture of it on Instagram. It's awesome.
Nice.
But speaking of those, I got to put my hands on a CZ Bull Shadow today. It was actually at it wasn't at K5 before Cajun asked, but got to put my hands on it. And, you know, I was expecting like it to be just awesome, but basically it's just an extended 75 with a Bull Shadow barrel. It's still pretty cool, but I didn't really like the grip all that much, but it is a nice pistol.
Very cool.
Yeah, MD Polo, everything is my fault. He blames me for everything. Oh, and by the way, you know, we've talked about it before, and I've held it in my hand, but I held it again. That CZ Ramey, God dang, that thing is small.
Yeah, they're tiny.
They are.
Man, yeah. I was like, put that thing in my hand. I did a picture of it on Instagram because Lock Grips has been laughing, and they're like, Big J, you need to get you a CZ Ramey, you know, see if it'll fit your hand. And I was like, it won't fit my hand. They're like, we need to see a picture of it. So I shot a picture today and put it on Instagram. They were laughing about it. I mean, I can almost get my trigger finger, when I hold it at the side, it's like this far from the muzzle. It's just a tiny gun.
So I want to ask you guys another question that's sort of unrelated to guns, but related to your channels. And then, you know, after we're done with this little, I guess you can call it a segment, we will, you know, do whatever you guys want to do after that. How's that sound?
Cool.
All right. So one of the things that, you know, obviously we kind of reflect, at least we'd like to pretend we reflect, and we talk about, you know, our channels a little bit and we see where they're at. I mean, I know my channel's been running now for 2 years. I think Big J's also. And KS, how long has yours been on?
2 years and a month.
Okay. So 2 years into this, and, you know, we've obviously had peaks and valleys. Apparently Big J and myself have had more valleys than peaks.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you guys a question about your channel in general. in the 2 years that you've been doing this, and especially in this past year, could you say what one or two things might be sort of an obstacle that you have faced on your channel, like something that maybe didn't necessarily permit your growth that you wanted or prohibited it a little bit? Because I'd love to see if you guys have actually faced any obstacles, I guess, in the process of doing YouTube.
You want to go KS or?
Sure. I mean, the biggest obstacle is me. I mean, you know, there are some things I'm a little bit limited in because I'm in the city. I'm not out south or out west where there's more land. So, you know, I'm at an indoor range, so there are limitations there, and so I don't have the outdoor flexibility and scenery, unfortunately, and that has proved to be more challenging than worth it to do so far. I'm still working on some avenues there, but that's been a big one, and I probably see more feedback about that than anything else. And the biggest feedback that comes along with that, I don't think people care that I'm at an indoor range quite so much, except some people say all you're doing is shooting at a static target, whatever. Yeah, you're right, I am. But the big thing is not being able to get a camera close enough to the target. You know, I try and zoom in a little bit here and there and bring the targets back so people can see what's been done. But you know, we're still trying to work out a way to get a camera out there, and unfortunately, because of those dynamic spinning targets, you know, if you mess with the balancing of them or anything, it can mess them up. So we're trying to find some alternatives to that, but that's been a big challenge. And then kind of shaking things up a bit. You know, I put out that shotgun video the other day, and I was on screen, and I'm almost never on screen.
Yeah,
I
no, that was surprising, man.
Yeah, I didn't have another way to do it, and I'm not a fan of doing that. I'm not afraid to show my face. Clearly, we do this every week. It's not that so much, but I've always had a feeling that people don't want to see us. They want to see the guns. They want to hear our thoughts, perhaps, or see what's going on, or see some shooting or whatever. They don't want to see us, and I feel like sometimes it could be an advertisement for the face, and that's not what I'm going for. However, I got some positive comments on that. I was surprised. I wasn't quite sure how that was going to be taken. I was expecting a lot of thumbs down and don't ever be on camera again or whatever. But that wasn't the case. So I'm trying to think of some ways to mix things up a little bit, not dramatically, but subtly next year, just to try and keep things kind of fresh. That's the challenge. You get stale. I mean, my videos are basically the same. You know, it's the same format. It's the same thing every time. And just after a while, I would think people get really bored of seeing the same thing over and over again. 17, you've made a dramatic change with your videos. There's some cool stuff there. And I think that's an evolution. And I think I need to find something there as well.
Yeah, I think for myself, you know, probably a lack of editing has hurt me or hindered me, I guess you could say, you know, because I look at it is what it is. But if I edited and, you know, added music and, you know, had other stuff in there, I'm sure it would probably be a lot more movie worthy or, you know, viewer friendly. And then sometimes when I do a tabletop, I'm not doing a shooting and tabletop at the exact same time. So, I mean, as far as, you know, the next year, you know, I've got some changes coming up. So, and I haven't done anything this year, I'm not going to, but, you know, next year I've got some changes coming up that I'm going to do. And, you know, I mean, ultimately, you know, I do YouTube, of course, for myself. You know, it's just a hobby. It's not a, you know, a job or anything like that. You know, it's not like we're making any money off of it, but, you know, I just want to kind of do it for me. And, you know, if people want to come along for the ride, I really appreciate it. But that's kind of, you know, probably what's hindered me the most.
So really quick, West Coast Chicano, thank you, sir, for the $5. I agree with what your statement is. Big C says I come off a little dry sometimes. Oh, I'm sorry you feel that way. I will be sure to add humor very soon.
You need to weten it up.
I'm gonna.
Did you say wetting it up?
Yeah, I was joking. He said he's a little dry. I said you need to weten it up.
I need a little moisturizer.
Yeah, there you go.
And of course, music lovers saying waiting for 76 to do some horse riding shooting videos. That'd be pretty cool. If I had a horse, I would do that. Why the hell not? I might do that on my lawn tractor. Why not?
Yeah, there you go. I know I need to do some steer wrestling videos.
You know, you guys bring up a lot of good, you know, a lot of good, you know, points. You know, I think for me, obstacle one has been the lack of ability to get like cool stuff. And when I mean cool stuff, I'm talking about, you know, just having more freedom with what I can get. I think that's a huge obstacle with any channel who might come out of New York. You know, it's tough because we obviously have a huge amount of friggin' obstacles to get through just to get a gun, whether it's waiting period, whether it's, you know, the lack of high capacity or normal capacity magazines, which somebody reminded me on one of the videos. So I think that's always a problem. You know, I think that really does hinder it quite a bit, because I see some of the builds that you know, other channels are making, you know, whether it's an AR pistol or an AR period. I'm saying, God, I'd love to do that, but I can't, you know, and that sucks, you know? So I think that's a problem. And
one thing I wanted to ask, you know, our family of good commenters out there is, you know, do y'all get tired of gun videos, like gun review videos? And this is for y'all too. You know, do you get tired of seeing this, you know, like just seeing a gun video or a gun review? You know, do you want to see something different? You know, I've never had a subscriber say, "Oh, I'm just tired of gun videos," but you know, I was just curious if people honestly get tired of them, or want to do something different. You know, do y'all like to see different stuff, or just really gun videos?
So just getting back really quick to what I was saying before you really cut me off. You know, the last thing that I think is, you know, with KS, he brought up the change that I did on the videos. You know, it's kind of, it's hit and miss with that, you know, because there are some people who right away started complaining that, oh, the music is like porn music, or, you know, the music shouldn't be there. But at the same time, I mean, you know what, I'm playing around with the format a little bit. It's not perfected. It's a work in progress, so to speak. But I kind of wanted to change it up myself. You know, I was tired of just doing the same tabletop stuff. You know, sometimes it's hit and miss with that too, because even like the last video I made, the music was too loud. And even when I was editing it, it sounded right. But then when it went to, you know, produce it, and then I heard it, I'm like, oh man, that music is way too loud. And I even put it right in the description that it was too loud. But, you know, sometimes, you know, when you do things, there's going to be some growing pains with that. You know, I plan on continuing to do it more like that. The whole thing about I'm a little dry sometimes, I don't really know if, I don't really know how to change that. I mean, that's just who I am. You know, I'm sorry, guys. This is who I am. I don't make any excuses for it. And I'm not going to apologize for it. I mean, that's just what it is, you know?
Yeah, but that's the learning thing, though. That's how, when you start to step outside of the box and try some different things, of course you're going to get, it's going to take people off guard, right? You know, whether it's the music or different footage or whatever it is, it's going to take people by surprise, especially people that are kind of used to the format and used to things. And that's either, you know, you keep going down that direction because it's something fun for you. And we do this because it's fun to get to know everybody, but it's also because it's something we enjoy doing. It's part of the exploration. You may not end up landing on that type of video per se, but using some of the things you learned, some of the tools, and incorporating them in something else throughout 2019. I think that's where it's going to make a payoff.
And then Baldy's saying he's sick of Steyer videos. First off, spell it right. Secondly, I don't care.
Yeah, and you know, there's a lot of, I'm looking at the comments, and there's been a lot of comments, you know, gel testing videos, you know, a lot of people really like those and stuff. But, you know, it kind of goes back to what KS said. You know, I don't have an outdoor area where I would love to do that, you know, mix up the gel and kind of get into that. But, you know, the areas that I'm in, you know, it kind of doesn't allow me to do that. Right. If I could just go out and chunk a big old glob of gel on a table out the range, that'd be pretty awesome. But
I think there's nothing wrong with being, you know, being true to what you have, you know. Yeah. You know, I know somebody brought up overproduced videos, you know, and I that's what I kind of dread. Like, I don't want my stuff to be so overly ridiculously like stupid. And I kind of think, going back and forth through, I really want to do this change, but I also think if you keep it within a certain time frame, I mean, I don't think it's that bad if it's 8 to 10 minutes, but I don't know. And then on top of that, you know, if you don't have access to an outdoor range, you can't shoot steel all the time. I mean, look, I'd love to have that stuff. Every time I see like videos from Pops where he's out at the farm shooting everything, or even Baldy where he goes into his secret location, you know, I'm saying, God, I wish I had the opportunity to do that, because it would be much more fun for me to shoot. But, you know, I don't think there's anything wrong with being true to what you have and doing as good a job as you can with what you have. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I do like Pistol Pete's idea. He said I could put some Jello on a paper plate and shoot it. That would be awesome too. I do like that.
Hey, I'm gonna address something real quick because this would take too long to type. Jay Sav, I appreciate the feedback. He was suggesting taking all the winners of the If I Could Only Have Ones and put them all together. That'd be very cool, but it'd be a huge video first because there have been a lot of winners. I think I've done like 24 of those now. And also, I don't have a lot of those guns anymore. I mean, remember, a lot of this is cyclical. I wish I could keep everyone. I truly do, but I don't have the resources to be able to do that or the room, frankly. So a lot of the winners are no longer here, even though I still believe they are winners. So just throwing that out there.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I agree, you know, we're not going to keep everything, you know, and I know some people get kind of hurt about that when you don't have that opportunity. But like you said, man, the funding is always another issue. I think that's also a big obstacle sometimes. And we don't necessarily talk about it, but at the same time, it's reality too, for most of us. You know, we don't have that cash cow, and we don't have the, you know, these whatever guns.com. I don't know if you guys saw that little posting by, you know, 180-second ideas, but we don't get those. So a lot of times, you know, you buy something, and yeah, you turn it around, you know, and sometimes you don't. Like, there are some guns that I just can't because I just love them that much. But you know, it is what it is. I mean, at least we're being honest about it. And I think that's what needs to be kept in mind. And there's nothing wrong. You know, Triple C saying he funds his own channel. So do I. So do all of us here. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, that's you know, that's a source of great pride, I think, for all of us. I don't think any of us have taken a dime for anything. I mean, I've occasionally gotten some free stuff. I think we all have some little things here and there, some product, and that is kind of the payment for doing reviews and you know, trying some things out and sharing thoughts and all that. And I think that's perfectly fine. And then there are some companies that don't let you keep them. I mean, I've had to send a lot of stuff back, but I've never taken a dime, and I like that. I really prefer that. I was talking with some people today. I had a lunch with some family members, and they were asking about that. And I just, you know, because they were like, you know, is this going to grow into a bigger thing or a job or whatever? And I'm like, probably not. I mean, the pay is so tiny, and I do it for the fun and to get to know all of you guys and everything. It just the whole pay thing. That's not. I don't know. I think that sours it a little bit. You know, I'd rather be genuine.
Sure. Yeah. By the way, this portion of this chat is sponsored by Steyr Arms. That's not true, guys. Just that's a lie. That's a lie. Although they are sending me to SHOT Show.
Hey, nice.
Totally lying about that as well.
Yeah,
that's not happening.
I don't go anywhere.
They're sending it to me, so they're sending me on YouTube so I can watch them. So that's awesome. So now that we've kind of digressed into our, you know, our obstacles in the YouTube life, let's turn this around. What do you guys want to talk about?
Well, you were talking about watching videos and that sort of thing, Big Johnson. I was kind of thinking about that a little bit. I'd made a comment a week or two ago, maybe, that I don't watch as many as I used to. And part of that's time, and part of that is I kind of want to see some other stuff as well. Lately, I've been watching a lot of gun reviews, but small channel gun reviews. I still very much enjoy that. I mean, it's fun to go watch some of the bigger channels and that sort of thing, and I value their opinions as well. But I really like some of the small channels and interacting with them, and I'm a small channel too. We are all small channels, and I think that's a fun little community. So I've been spending a fair amount of time with that.
Yeah, I commented the other night. Someone made a comment on one of my videos, CZ videos, and it was the Shadow 2 versus the Tanfo, and he's a Tanfo shooter. I think he has 76 subscribers. I didn't even know he had a channel, but I'm pretty good about tapping the button and seeing if they do. And he did, and he had some shooting stuff, so I watched some of his videos. Good shooter, and I commented, "Hey, great job, nice run," and he was like seemed really ecstatic that I was watching his video. And, oh, thanks for coming over and all this stuff. I was like, dude, hey, I would rather watch a lot of the, the community people that we get along with and that comment on my stuff than a lot of the big channels, because some of them, like we've talked about before, some of them seem like it's just a ShamWow commercial, and you just don't get a lot from it. They might be introducing a gun, but, I like to kind of see, I guess, the smaller guys like us, the true opinions is what I call them. Not the bought and paid for opinions, and see what they think about it, or what they're doing with it, or what they're going to use it for. And, it's good to get, bounce around different ideas, from different content creators too.
So really quick, I do want to give one shout out to a gentleman that I've spoken to a couple of times and actually watch his channel as well. If you are into Steyrs as much as I am, this guy I would absolutely say is probably the master of Steyr. He's got incredible knowledge about everything that is Steyr. So if you have a chance, check out TN Steyr's channel. If you're into Steyrs, man, this guy has it. I mean, he knows the ins and the outs. I even would call him sort of a Steyr insider. But you know, he's opened my eyes to a lot of stuff, and I'm excited to know him, and I'm excited for him and what his endeavors are with Steyr. I just hope he remembers me when he makes it huge.
Yeah, he does have a good channel. I've watched some of his videos as well. Some good stuff.
So check that out.
I'm waiting for him to put out some Glock videos.
No, I don't know if that's going to happen. Maybe we can get him to do that, you know, because there's nothing wrong with Glocks. They're actually pretty good.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's since it's getting close to Christmas, y'all have any big things you're getting or wanting? I know we kind of talked about this last time, if you could get any present, but I mean, realistically, do y'all have some stuff coming down the pipe, or, you know, some stuff that if you get gift cards you're saving up for, or any of that kind of stuff?
KS is getting an Atlas.
No, I wish I was, man. Those things look freaking sweet. No, but there was something that was supposed to come in today that did not, and I swear these things are cursed. The Archon did not come in today, so I'm hoping it comes in tomorrow. It was shipped apparently on either Friday or Saturday. So
oh, he's gone to the dark side.
God, man, I'm telling you, but I really want to try it. I really do, and I've been enjoying the polymer 80s, yes, but I'm trying to refill the gun supply a little bit. I was going to say a little earlier, we were talking about we have to sell guns periodically so we can bring in new stuff, right? Well, I'm at a point where there are two guns that I'm looking at, and I don't want to sell either one of them. I like them both, but I have to pick between the two, and I have
you can only pick one. There you
go. Right. Yeah. I have no idea which one I'm going to keep, and I'll share it with you guys. And I'm sure a lot of people will give me trouble, but it's.
I already know what it is.
Well, okay. What are they?
Shadow 2.
No.
Oh, damn it. All right. I give up.
The Shadow 2. I will die with that gun. That will go in the casket with me. We will be cremated together. But no, it's between actually the FN 509 Tactical and the Glock 19X. I love them both, but I have a lot of Glocks, and I can't keep them all. In the 19X, I think I shoot the least. It's become pretty much a home defense gun, and that's it. And that's usually the time when I start thinking, oh, something else could replace that, and I could move on from there. But the FN 509, I like that gun a lot, but I don't shoot it. I sort of have been avoiding it to shoot other things, which is another sign that it might be time as well. So I haven't decided yet, but I've got to make a decision here pretty soon.
I can make that one for you. You know, if you really look at it, you've got the threaded barrel, you've got the RMR capability, and you also have the Glock 45 already.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. I mean, that is very true.
Why keep the 19X?
Now,
yeah, that's true.
Yep, everybody's voting over here. Don't they?
It's funny because that's why I won't get rid of the. Well, that's why I won't buy a 45 is because I have the 19X. So there's your answer. Ditch the 19X.
Yeah, and that may happen. The only thing is, again, the 509 is a phenomenal gun, but I'm not as excited to shoot it as I am other firearms. So I don't know. I've decided anything. I'm not in a big hurry for it just yet. But these are the types of decisions that we have to go through sometimes. You know,
such is life. There's been a couple of comments. You have plenty of Glocks.
So for myself. You know, I was talking to Big J, and I don't think I told you KS yet, but I did wind up picking up a PPS M2 RMSC. So I'm super stoked about that. So it'll probably be by March by the time I get it. So, you know, I'm guaranteeing you're going to see that in 2019. I actually wound up getting that off a gun broker, and it's not brand new. It was actually used, but I did call the shop that had it, asked them some questions about it. And apparently the person who sold it barely used it, and basically he needed brakes for his car. So he wound up selling it for cash. And I actually bought it for under $500.
Wow.
So I jumped all over that. 3 mags, couldn't beat it. And I'm kind of excited because I'm now diving my toes and feet back into the single stack market, which I believe KS ragged on me a little bit about.
Yeah, I was going to say I ragged on you too.
Yeah, because I said I don't know if I'd go back, but it was weird because KS posted the Glock 26 video, and then I'm sitting here saying, "Damn it, I do miss my fat baby," but at the same time, I really like my Glock 19, and it's I think it's a better gun, but that's me. And then I was thinking at single stacks. I looked at the 43. I looked at all the other single stacks of Shield again, and I said, you know what? Why not try to find RMSC on the cheap? And I did, and I'm glad I went that route. So I can't wait to actually get my hands on it. Obviously, it's going to be a wait, but that'll probably be a 2019 video because I don't plan on doing much for the rest of this year.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm really excited. I've fallen again into this damn red dot crap. So now I've got to try them all out and see if my shaky ass hands can master them.
Yeah.
And then I'm also looking at a Beretta. Not going to lie, PX4 Storm compact and all FDE.
Yeah, I saw your stuff on Instagram.
May have put some money down on that already.
Yeah, I shot KS's, and I mean it was the smaller one, but shot pretty good.
Mm-hmm. And then hopefully by next year we'll see Curating come out with their gun, their pistol, which I'm super excited about still. Obviously we have some other things. We've seen that AREX. They're starting to kind of pump some more interest into that handgun. So you're going to see that all over the place pretty soon. Still waiting on the Masada. I haven't seen that in a while, so it'd be nice to actually see that.
Here we go. MD Polo has a question. Recommendations on a 1911 under $1,500.
Yeah, there are lots of recommendations. There are some Dan Wessons that are under 1,500. I will have a Dan Wesson in 2019. A lot of people have said I need to review one, and I really just want one badly. I need to decide which one. I'm thinking Guardian, but I'm not sure. But those are great. Colts are great. Rock Island Armory actually are great too. Now you're spending about half the money, but you'd have a lot of money left over for ammo. There are some really good options out there. Even Remington's make some pretty good 1911s as well. So might be some to consider.
Yeah, if you're looking at a higher end, I would recommend a Dan Wesson, highly for that price point. And the SIG that I have and that I've got is nice. I mean, it shoots good, but I would definitely, matter of fact, I was finger banging quite a bit of Dan Wessons today, and I saw one that I really, really liked. And it was under $1,500. And another thing a lot of people might not know, and they're out there, the Dan Wesson, they actually have what's called, it's kind of like they call them a blim. And the way that you can tell it is you look at the serial number, and at the very last thing, it'll have this weird little asterisk line. And Dan Wesson sends them out to certain shops. They're approved to get the whatever they're called. What I said, not remand, but they're blemish, and they'll have a little weird stamp after it. And you can get those for like $400 off. And I looked at this pistol up and down, even took it apart, and I couldn't see a mark on this thing. I can't see where they're calling it a blemish. But it was like a $1,800 gun, and it was like $1,300, and it was beautiful. I mean, it was awesome. I really, really wanted it.
Now, do you guys feel sometimes like when you're looking at handguns that expensive? Because I've never bought a gun that expensive, and I don't know if I can.
You need to.
But my question, yeah, right. My question would be to both of you is, have you ever spent that cash on a gun and immediately and instantaneously said, what the hell did I just do? Okay, nodding yes.
Yeah, oh yeah. I'm a 1911 guy, and I love them for sure. And I've always been a Colt 1911 guy. I grew up on those. I did get the chance to get one of their. It was I think it's like the 1911 A1. I forget. It's the tan one. I think actually Bald might have one. And I had one. It was their close quarters combat Marine version, whatever. It was a beautiful gun, but it was really expensive. And the second I bought it, the second I had it in hand, I had buyer's remorse like crazy with that gun. And I did end up walking away from that after a while, because at the time, that was years ago, that was tough to be that heavily invested in one gun. It still is now, but it's a little less painful. But I kind of wish I had it now. But these are the things that we go through, right?
Sure.
What about
Yeah,
you there?
I mean, I bought, 1911. I had a really nice Ed Brown, a nice Les Bear, and the Ed Brown was the premium with the etching and all the stuff. And I mean, it was a really expensive gun. When I bought it, I was like, I gotta have it. And it wasn't that I didn't have the money, but afterwards I was like, man, I could have bought a lot of guns for that. However, it shot nice. It was a super nice pistol, and I got the money out of it. But do I wish I had it? Yes. But I mean, we've all been there. So, except 17.
Hey, so Hurt One is asking what determines what guns you keep and what guns you replenish for reviews. That's actually a really good question. What do you guys think?
Go ahead. 17.
Yeah, that's a tough call. I don't know. I don't really know. I think it's just I don't know. Man, I don't know. I don't have an answer to that. I think it's I think KS brought something up in regards to when you think about a gun. There's just certain guns you just stop using or don't necessarily gravitate to as much as others. Or maybe there are guns that when you take it to the range, you just become a master with that gun. Now, of course, there's always going to be people say, well, it's not the gun, it's the shooter. I don't know if I buy that sometimes because I know for a fact I can shoot the Steyrs, that M&P 2.0 compact all day long like a boss. And if I take out another gun, it's not going to be as accurate. So I don't know if it's more the ergonomics of the guns or whatever it might be. But I just think it's you take a gun to a range, you shoot several hundred rounds through it, you immediately and instantly know which ones you will never want to get rid of, and then you have the same experience with ones that you do. Like somebody brought up the CCP. My God, that gun. But like right now, I have a problem because none of the guns I currently have are guns that I want to get rid of, and that's a problem sometimes. So I don't know. I think it's a lot of times you just know it instantaneously that this is a gun that you actually connect with in a way that you don't with other handguns.
Yeah, I mean, as far as, I really don't get rid of a lot of guns. There's some that I've just completely fell out of love with. I mean, like I've, taken them to the range multiple times and I'm just like, I just, but it's few and far between. I kind of hang on to guns for a long time, but I've gotten rid of a few, but it just kind of depends on, if I've just completely fallen out. And I mean, that's one thing. I don't buy guns just to put on the channel. I buy guns for what I enjoy or what I'm going to shoot or what I like. But, some you just kind of fall out of love with. Now, I'm sorry, go ahead, KS.
Thank you first. So it all depends. I mean, there's some, I mean, like the Shadow 2 or the TSO or even the SPO1 Shadow or the PO1 Omega. And I just named 4 CZs, I realize, but I love those guns. Those are probably my top 4 favorite or among the top 5 anyway. Those are guns, even though the Shadow 2 really isn't that difficult to come across. The other ones are kind of tough to come across. And those I think would be forever guns. I don't imagine ever getting rid of them, even though there's some money tied up in that. I love those guns. Pretty much anything and everything else is sort of up for grabs. And what I mean by that is there's some guns that are sort of staples, a Glock 19 of some sort or another. I don't care what it is, but a Glock 19 of some sort or another, because I like Glock 19s a lot. But I think they're also a great analog for compact sized guns, and they're easy to use in videos because so many people understand, oh, it's Glock 19. Okay, I see where it lines up. So that's sort of a must. But there are a couple of other guns like the Steyr M9. I love that freaking thing. I don't really see getting rid of that because I enjoy it quite a bit. And then the M&P 2.0C, I love that quite a bit. However, if they came out with a new version of either one of those two, I would potentially walk away from those for another version of them or something like that. That's kind of what I go through. But then there's a section of guns that are basically, I consider their review guns, and at any time they can be in and out, or sometimes I acquire them with the sole intention of reviewing, getting on video as many times as it makes sense, and then I know they're going to be gone. Like the Shield EZ, it was a really good gun. I liked it quite a bit, but I knew the second I got it that was not going to be here forever. It's just part of it.
Yeah, I had a question for y'all, and it wasn't brought up in the chat, but I had a question. Do you, and this is a question for everyone out there, and of course you guys, do you, if you have to pick a gun, not one gun, but a type of gun, would you pick striker fire, or would you pick double action, single action, or single action? You could even specify that if you're, if you only could pick one, what would it be as far as type of action?
Hmm. I mean, I think the problem with double single is you don't necessarily get a lot of really good offerings, you know. I mean, CZ I think is probably the number one on most people's list, then probably maybe a SIG or an H&K. Again, I don't know if that's true, but for me it is. Like I'm not a SIG person, but I like CZs a lot. But I also really, when I look at the hammer fired CZs, I don't like the metal CZs, you know. So that's why I got the PO1s. I love them. But if I had to pick one, I think there's more offerings in the striker fired market, you know, so you're seeing a lot more innovation go that route. So I think that automatically would mean you'd probably be more susceptible to buying one of those. And I know for me, I like having the striker fired. It's obviously a little easier to master or get better with over time. But I think for me, it's definitely striker fired.
Okay. What about you, Chaos?
That's really tough. A couple of years ago, I would have said striker fire without hesitation. I don't think I can say that anymore. I mean, there are some really good hammer fired firearms that feel as good, if not 10 times better than striker fired guns. If it was solely for the purpose of self-protection, home defense, I would go striker. Just that's kind of the reality of it. But if it was for enjoyment or something, it would be a hammer fired gun. It would be double action, single action. I don't know. That's tough. Yeah, that's a tough question.
Well, that's why I ask it.
Yeah, it's a good question. It's a tough question though.
Because I had a really long conversation, or I had a conversation today with Humble, and and of course I'm older than you guys, and I've kind of been around the full circle, so to say. And this is just my opinion, and I own many of them. Striker fire guns kind of bore me, and I'm not being rude about them. It's just like, yeah, you can have a Glock that has a good trigger, you can have a P10 that has a good trigger, you can have, another striker fire, but ultimately it's still a striker fire. And what I find that I guess kind of challenged me a little more are the double action, single actions. And of course, just a hammer gun, even if it's a 1911 single action. But, I just find a little more enjoyment, or a little more, and not that I'm, a master shooter with any of them. I'm not trying to say that. It's just I find a little more enjoyment and a little more challenge out of them. Even like in a competition, if it's a double action, single action, you have to start with hammer down. So you have to depress the trigger, and you have to, drop your hammer. And a lot of people can't do that, or are scared to do that. But I just find a little more challenge out of it. So it kind of pushes me a little more to be a little more proficient with those, versus a striker fire. I can just sit there and just shoot a striker fire, it seems like, pretty normally, and get good shots on it. Oh, so, someone bet that I was going to say striker fire or double action, single action. Yes, they were right.
So Mateo had asked a little bit a while ago, asking, what about guns that others have ruined for you? Directed at all three of us. So have you ever seen a review on a handgun, or any gun for that matter, that you've seen and it just completely, I guess, ruined the interest you may have had on that gun?
Yeah, without question. I'll just go. The 365, actually. It was a great gun. There were some successful reviews in there, but I got so tired of just all the stuff, and I still probably get, I don't know, 20 or 30 comments a week of either, oh, it's the greatest thing, or it's the worst thing, or how could you ever trust your life, and all that kind of stuff. And I just, man, I'm over that. I'm over it,
Yeah. If I have to pick one, and I might hurt a little feelings here, probably the gun that I got probably the most, I don't know if it was hate, and not that I dislike the gun, was the PPQ. I was kind of like, it's okay. It's not that great. Of course, 17 beat me up about it when he was on his PPQ kick.
Coming again.
And everybody, like in the videos, they're like, what? PPQ is the best damn trigger in the world. And it is a nice trigger. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, as far as the gun, the way it fit me, and, with a little bit of the lightness in the front end, a little more I could, feel a little more recoil than other pistols. And I never discredited the gun. It's a great gun. It just didn't do a lot for me. And like I said, it's a great, phenomenal pistol. I know people that shoot lights out with it, and I shot it actually pretty well too. But that was probably, I actually liked the VP9 better than the PPQ, just because the trigger on the VP9 was more forward, where the PPQ was, I would bottom that thing out, and it just, the way that, as big as my finger is, it just didn't hit me really well. Now the Apex trigger did make it a lot better, but I don't know. It just, and that stupid banner, I've talked about it before, that damn banner on the PPQ reminds me of a damn banquet TV dinner, Yeah, and Brian, I'm not ripping on PPQ. I'm just saying, for me personally.
So for me, there's actually two videos that kind of ruined some guns for me. One was my own video on the CCP that absolutely just ruined it for me. Every time I watch that video, I'm like, damn it, I hate that gun, even though I really liked it initially, and then it just didn't do anything for me. So I ruined my own love for that gun. And then the Hudson H9 was ruined by KS. So
yeah,
once I saw that video and kind of had some off-camera conversations with him about it, I was like, damn it, damn you, KS, for ruining that for me.
Here to
So
help.
those are really the two videos that I think ruined guns, but it's all good. It is what it is.
So we're getting pretty close to time, but there is a question. TN Star is asking one, and this might be a tough question, and this might take us down a dark road, or we may not even want to go down this road.
I do.
I know you do, but he said, what is the one thing that you absolutely cannot stand when you see a review video?
Should I go first?
Go ahead.
So the one thing I can't stand is watching somebody have the camera pointed at them shooting, and all you hear is ding, 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 and you never see the damn target, so you don't know how far they are, how close they are, and then they put some sort of like, I'm in a movie, I'm an action movie guy shooting my gun really fast at steel plates, but you're never going to see the target, you're never going to see the groups, you're just going to see me shooting it. Like, that bugs me. That does.
It kind of, it kind of bugs me, I guess, when, okay, say if it's a particular person, and there's a couple of people out there that I'm talking about, but I won't say names, but what they do is they review the pistol, and they do a lot of reviews, okay? Every one of the guns that they shoot in every video, they absolutely love. It's the best gun I've ever shot in my entire life, and you should buy it. I mean, they don't say, well, this one just doesn't set up for my hand correctly. It always fits their hand correctly. And then when you see their hand, you can look at it if you're a gun guy and go, the trigger reach is too short, but it's the best gun in the world, and you should buy it, and that just kind of bugs the shit out of me.
All right, Cass.
Okay, so you were talking about me. I love all guns. I truly do. And there's I'm buying all these guns, so it's nobody's telling me to say any of that. I just like guns, so I'm pretty simple in that regard. But except for one or two that I really didn't like, and I said so on film. For me, and I have to be very careful how I say this, because I think there are good ways to go about this. In acceptable ways, and there are not acceptable ways to do this. And again, I this is not directed at any one channel or anything like that, because I love all gun channels. So I may get myself in trouble for this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Pandering. I'm not fond of pandering. I'm okay if somebody says, hey, if you want to go visit my XYZ site, I'm out there, and go see that, and there's some extra content and that sort of thing. That's totally cool. That doesn't bother me one bit. I mean, that helps fund the content. So I get it, but move on from that. And I see every once in a while, it's over and over and over and over again. And I'm sort of anti that. So that kind of sours me a little bit, I guess. Again, there's a good way to go about it, and a not so good way. So that's just me.
Excellent.
Yeah, and I'll kind of jump on that just a tad. I've actually unsubscribed from channels for doing that. And it's about the presentation, just like what you said. They want to have a Patreon or whatever, I don't care. That's cool. If people are going to give you money, give you money. I'm all for, you doing that. But it's when you beg, and when you have it's a 5-minute video and you talk about how broke you are and all this other shit for 3.5 minutes, and then talk about the gun review for a minute. That's just unacceptable. I mean, if that's the case, you need to don't worry about YouTube, and you need to go get a job or focus on something else. But I understand what you're saying about that.
I will say a good example of a great way to do it. Honest Outlaw. He said this is a crowd-funded thing. If you want to support it, great. If you don't, great. And he moves on. He goes about his business, and they're great reviews. I'm okay with that. That doesn't bother me a bit because it's just a quick choice and it's a quick blurb, and you move on, and the rest of the content is aces. So I'm okay with that. If it's over and over and it's in your face and it's all the time, I struggle with that. I just do. I struggle with that.
Yep.
All right, guys. So it is now 9:01. We have ran our hour to the ground. So as always, we appreciate everybody being out here tonight with us. I don't know are we going to do another one in the next week? Because it's the 26th, right? I probably won't be able to do that. It's my wife's birthday, but I don't know if you guys want to take a little hiatus or what. Yeah,
it's up to you guys. It doesn't matter to me. Next week would be my chat, but we can carry it over to the following week because we might have a lot of the family, here in the chat room that are traveling and things like that.
We got a week to decide. So, we'll let everybody know.
Yeah. We can, as a matter of fact, we can let everybody go in after this video is over and just vote. Hey, do you need it, or can we take off a week? What do y'all want to do?
So, all right.
Cool.
All right, guys. Well, appreciate you being here tonight. Appreciate everybody who stuck by us. 109 viewers, apparently. So that's awesome. Yeah. We do appreciate it. And hopefully in the new year, we will get more than that. That would be great. Yeah. So hope you guys have a great night. And I'll see you clowns in a couple of weeks, if not a week. And thanks, guys, for showing up. Appreciate it.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Razor has a comment. Tundra has a 2-hour chat. What's this thing? 1 hour, 50 minutes begging, other 10 minutes taking shots. Okay, never mind.
All right. On that note, happy holidays, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Appreciate it, everybody. Carry on.
Bye.